minute. Amazing. It worked. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Sorry.
Thanks. How are you?
Good. I was trying to do
Almost.
it on my computer, but I guess it doesn't work as well on a computer.
No. Instagram has made that difficult.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
too old for Instagram, so
Well, you look like you're doing good for it. So I
you know,
appreciate you joining us here. It's nice to get to see you today.
same.
Um, and before we even get started and talking about this, I just want to share that your show actually is the first place that I ever felt comfortable to share my fertility journey. So it feels very appropriate that you are our first Instagram Live this year for Infertility Awareness Shabbat to speak a little bit about what inspires you as a community rabbi and as a person to really make sure that Infertility Awareness Shabbat is so much about a part of Eitz Chaim. And so before we even start answering those questions, do you want to take a second to introduce yourself to those who don't yet know you on this?
Okay. My name is Sam Klibanoff. I have the privilege of serving as the rabbi of Congregation Eitz Chaim in Livingston, New Jersey. I've been a pulpit rabbi for more years than I would like to admit, but it's a lot. And I have known Gila for quite some time. And it's true that when you gave that presentation in our shul, which still, when we rank presentations in our shul, it still goes down as
Wow,
top three
thank you.
ever in our shul.
Well,
But
I'm going to be
it could.
outranked this week,
Yes, I'm
but that's okay.
just saying. I've done exactly. And you'll forgive me that I'm preempting the
Yeah.
Shabbos. It's just that we had something scheduled on our calendar months and months and months ago.
Okay.
Because I thought, oh, it's Shabbos Mavarchim. Usually it's in Nisan, but I guess it's hard to figure out because of the way Pesach
Yeah.
falls this year. So we're doing our Yesh Tikva Shabbat. I don't know say Shabbat or Shabbos. I'm a
Either way.
Shabbos guy. Yeah, so we're doing it this Shabbos, and
Amazing.
with close friends of yours also, if we're going to share their journey.
Well, I can't wait to hear about it after, and I am sure that they will most definitely outrank me. But I think that it will definitely inspire so many in your community, and just so grateful for your continued support of Yesh Tikva and for being the first shul to ever host an infertility awareness Shabbat.
There you go. You got to be, somebody has to be first.
Right? So the first question I'm going to start with is why? Why do you make sure that Infertility Awareness Shabbat is something that Eitz Chaim does every single year?
Well, the simple answer is because you asked. And sometimes that's all it takes. If it's somebody that you know, somebody that you care about, and they ask, you do it. But when we really get into the weeds about it, we realize about how little it's spoken of. And after your conversation that you had here, and every Shabbos that we do it, and every Simchas Torah when we do the prayer, people come out of the woodwork. And I struggle with this, and my sister did, and my cousin, and my brother-in-law. Like everybody comes, and you realize that it's and things that we take for granted. What always stuck with me is when you said someone who's going through this journey and they have to walk into shul and hear all the announcements and trip over the strollers and how painful that could be. And that's why we picked the Shabbos as the family holiday of Pesach. I think it's so powerful. And I always mention, I think that we have to be mindful of maybe people who are struggling with things that we're not aware of.
Yeah, thank you. And it's so important. And I think that that piece sometimes we had this question posed on Instagram actually this earlier this week because we constantly get asked this is how does inclusion happen? And you mentioned so many of the pieces that are so important. Inclusion doesn't happen by saying now we don't have strollers or now we're never going to talk about children, but it's finding that balance. It's being able to say yes and yes, there needs to be a place for us to keep strollers and there needs to be an entrance into our shul that allows people who can't walk through it and want to connect to God. And this is the place. It's the shul is the ultimate place where you're going to come and pour your hearts out and really beg for that dream of yours of the child. And if you can't even walk through the door because it's so triggering, what could we do as a community to make sure that we can both accommodate all the children and accommodate those who are struggling? And it's really meaningful that has become so important at Eitz Chaim.
Well, I'll tell you that also, it kind of like eases the pressure a bit, especially when we do the tefillah.
Yeah.
So when we have kol arim, and you have all the kids standing under the talis, and while the kids are standing under the talis, I have it read, the prayer is read, and it's read by a mom who herself went through a very, very difficult infertility journey. And people gave me a little bit of flack. I can have a woman get up there. I said, do me a favor, relax. You have bigger things to worry about. And she gets up there, reads in Hebrew and in English, and she like breaks down crying almost every time. but it's so powerful and so meaningful, and it means a lot to people. And the people who had the struggles or have the struggles, they kind of just feel like I'm okay, like we could be here. It's less painful than it could have been.
Yeah. And that's such an important piece of it, is that if there is no room for me, then I don't belong. But even if it's a painful space, if someone takes the effort to make room for me, I can be in my pain in that space with others because they're there to hold me through it. And wow, I'm goosebumps just hearing about this woman who's sharing it, because I think that that's like the ultimate experience, is being able to say, I've been through it. I know the loneliness of it, and I'm holding you in my prayer for you, and praying that you join me on this end of the experience. And that, I think, is the ultimate piece, is that for those who are still in struggle and who are going through treatment to grow their family, we're holding on to that hope, the hope that one day we are the ones celebrating together with everyone else at Kol Hanar.
Absolutely.
And so knowing all those pieces together is just so beautiful. I have another question for you. You've done it now. This is our 10th Infertility Awareness Shabbat. And Miriam saying you're best rabbi, best community. So
Well, that got you.
I second. And so you've been doing it now for 10 years. And I know that as much as it impacts the individuals who are going through it, we don't necessarily hear it from them, and they're more likely to come to you and share it with you. What have you heard as reactions from your community members who have struggled? Hearing this woman's share the Yesh Tikva fertility prayer, and hearing you and others speak on Infertility Awareness Shabbat and making room for them.
Right. So over the years, it's actually led to a few referrals to your organization, and made some good connections, I think, for you. But I think people just felt that they could talk about it, whereas they were almost ashamed, even if it wasn't them, if it was a sister, if it was a cousin, a good friend. But then they felt like, oh my God, we could talk about this. It's not crazy, and there are more people going through it than we realize, and it's something that really deserves our attention. So that's been the overall theme, that people come out, and it's uplifting, especially when you hear, I'm strangely excited for this Shabbos. I don't know what the right word is to use, because the story that we're going to hear this Shabbos, and it's also great because thank God we know the happy ending.
For sure.
But it was a long road, which I felt that our shul handled extremely well, and sort of took them, we were on the journey with them, I felt.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is due to because of your work, and you're teaching us how to have that sensitivity.
And I think that's such a meaningful piece to point out, is that there is a couple who goes through a journey, but they're surrounded by so many different people through their experience. And whether it's a single parent by choice, or a couple who are experiencing this experience, they're at the epicenter of the experience. But there's the family, the friends, the community, the rabbi surrounding them, who are there in their day to day. And the more we speak about it, as you said, the less shameful it becomes, and the more all those individuals touched by this experience have the opportunity to get the support that they need, so that both they're part of someone's support network. So when you're part of a person's support network, you need support, so that you can then turn in and support the person at that epicenter of the experience. And so inspiring to hear about
Even if it's
that.
just learning, here's what you could say, here's what you should say, here's what you definitely don't say.
Yeah.
So it's something as simple as that, because everybody wants to do well. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's say, when I coach people when they go to shivas,
Yeah.
and there's certain things you just don't say at a shiva,
For sure.
but people mean well. They really, really do.
Yeah.
They just don't know better. So you allow us to know better.
Yeah. Well, thank you for wanting to know better, because it genuinely makes a difference for a couple who is in a community, or an individual who's in a community where the community cares to learn, and actively pursues making that difference, because it goes from, I don't have a place in this community, to I may not be in the place in life where I hoped I would be, but my community is here for me. And when I can lean in, I know they're there to hold me. And when I need my space, I know they'll respect that boundary. And that makes all the difference, because there's only so much as an organization that any organization could do to hold a person in their moment of crisis. But if you give everyone around them the tools to do it, and the people around them want to learn those tools, then all of a sudden you've compounded the type of support that each individual could receive.
Right.
So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
10 years in, how are you doing?
it's incredible, and it's inspiring to see how many people are touched and are speaking about infertility. I can say that year one, and no one really wanted to do it. And in year 10, we've seen this incredible growth of, it's not just Yesh Tikva talking about it. It is communities hosting things, whether it's on Infertility Awareness Shabbat or at random Shabbatot or high holidays or Kol HaNa'arim, where really this conversation went from something that was so shameful and something that really was a secret, and has genuinely moved to something that is private, and privacy should be respected, but it's something that people feel comfortable speaking about. And we're seeing that just in conversations that we're having with individuals, and just the amount of people who are now willing to turn to us for support, who before felt too ashamed to even turn to Yesh Tikva to receive the support. So definitely we've seen the impact tremendously in the last 10 years.
So that's amazing. I mean, look what you've done. You and your
but with your help.
Yeah, I'm just a shliach, but I mean, you saw a need and you stepped up and you took this as your life's mission, and I think it's incredible. And you should be, you could take credit once in a while. It's okay. You're allowed.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it is a really beautiful thing to reflect on and to look at and to see how far this conversation has really come. And so, yeah, I'm grateful to be able to take that minute with you.
Okay.
Last question before we say goodbye for today. If we sometimes have rabbis who, as well-meaning and incredible as they are, have a difficulty signing up for Infertility Awareness Shabbat because of myriads of reasons. Either they have a skull in residence already booked that Shabbat, or a bar mitzvah, or other simcha, or they feel that they may isolate the individuals in the community that are going through infertility. How would you encourage them? What would you say to them of why it's so important for them to participate?
Well, how blunt am I allowed to be? This doesn't get edited, right?
Not live. Edited, and people are watching live.
I know. Well, first, I have you can't fix stupid. Okay, that's A. But I think that at the very least, even if you don't have a specific program, but at the very least, to say we're going to be joining, we're part of a larger body, and rabbis should look around, look at how many other shuls are doing it, and look, it's not a matter of shame, and you're actually helping, you're not hurting. And I think that the concerns, and I'm happy to speak to anybody who has concerns. They can call me and find out, why we got involved and why we do what we do, and explain exactly that the benefit far outweighs any concern. I promise you, any concern you'll ever have, because at the very least, you're going to be helping someone, or helping someone help someone, as opposed to your own fears. Rabbis are afraid of a lot of things. Trust me. We're always, thinking 4 or 5 steps ahead of who we're going to upset with what we do. But sometimes we have to let go of that, and sometimes right is right. Like going back to what I said earlier, people gave me flack. I have a woman up there on Simchas Torah in the middle of davening, reading, and I said, I don't care. We're not davening. She's doing an extraneous, external tefillah, which has a tremendous amount of meaning for so many people. And now, that was year 1. Since then, not a peep, not a word. And if you don't make a big deal out of it, don't make a big deal out of it. So trust me, it's not against halacha, it's not against anything. Of course, we keep full halacha, no question about it. But sometimes we have to get out of our own way. And I'm willing to help anybody who needs help getting out of their own way. That's usually the problem that rabbis have, that Jews have, that people have, humanity has. And sometimes we need a little help.
And I think the piece that for me resonated, and something I think that we sometimes don't articulate well, is that it, as you said, it doesn't need to be a huge program. If someone gets up in the shul on Infertility Awareness Shabbat and realizes that it's a movement of holding a part of our community, and everyone has it in their community, as you eloquently said earlier, whether it is you currently have a population in your shul of individuals who are going through infertility, or if you are a community that caters to individuals who have gone through it, or have children or siblings going through it. Everyone, 1 in 6, everyone is impacted in some way by it. So there really is no reason not to be having the conversation. But if you can't have a full conversation about it, just pausing to say the prayer. We pray for so many people and so many things. To stop and say that this matters too makes such a huge impact on the lives of those going through it, whether they're going through it or not. And obviously no one wants to be pointed out and say, oh, it's our token infertile couple in the shul, or infertile individual in the shul. It definitely done it with in respect and privacy, but something what may feel as small as saying we see, we care is enough to be a part of making this change globally.
Right. And even though we're doing it early, we're going to do it again the next week. Also,
Amazing.
it'll be our newsletter. It'll be mentioned.
Amazing.
And I think we're going to do the prayer this week, but it will be mentioned again, even though we like I said, scholar in residence. But it does. They're not. It's not a conflict.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be.
And I think to me the piece that always resonates is like at a chuppah, at the height of simcha, we pause and we mourn communally for something that is so deeply communally mournable. That at a simcha we can also pause and say, we hope that everyone gets to enjoy this. It goes hand in hand. When we celebrate a bar mitzvah, a ufruf, a bat mitzvah, any kind of a baby birth announcement, we have this opportunity to say, King Yirbu, let there be more. Like, let us continue to celebrate, because that's all we want to do as a nation. We want to have peace and we want to grow. And yeah. So.
Right. I mean, when I was in Israel recently, and I was meeting with my my very good friend Rav Doron Perez.
Yeah.
That's just a little bit of a flex. I just had to, But so Rav Doron was speaking to our group, and I think it was Rosh Chodesh that day, or I don't, whatever it was. But he said, because obviously given his story and what he's dealing with every single day, and he said that every single time we say Hallel, we say Zeh Hayom Asa Hashem Nagilim Nes Mechabo.
Yeah.
Right. This is the best day of my life. Nothing better has ever happened. And half a second later, you're saying Ana Hashem Hoshiana, Ana Hashem Atzlichana. So you can have that give and take, that yin and the yang, the both sides of it at the same time. Yeah. That's who we are. That's what we do, and that's the only way we can get by. So it's never all this. It's never all that. We have to. We could work things together. That's maybe that's the Rabbi's job, is to figure out how to make it work. But if you take a sort of holistic view, you could realize that this is everything that's a part of us. It's never all one thing or a conglomerate. Just like any congregation, if the whole entire congregation is the same, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's what gives us strength.
He wrote about that so nicely in A Day in October, about feeling that duality at his son's wedding.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We should be able to continue to celebrate goodness, and the prayers that everyone recites over this weekend, next weekend, and going forward. We should have a year of light with lots of miracles and lots of prayers answered.
Amen. And you should have tremendous hatzlacha. And I want to again just recognize and point out the tremendous work that you've done, really single-handedly to bring this to the fore, and how you've gotten so many rabbis, congregations, individuals involved. You should have just only tremendous hatzlacha in doing this. Mm-hmm. And that, Hashem should just shower his blessings upon you and the organization. And I'm open. Anybody wants to talk about, needs help with navigating how to work in a shul, rabbis, professionals, lay leaders, anybody. I'm here to be reached. Gila could tell you how to reach me with ease, and I'd be happy to speak to anybody.
Done. I will be sending you a lot of people. So
please do.
Thank you, Rabbi Klibanoff. Thank you for making the time, and thank you for always being such a huge supporter.
No, thank you for allowing us to be so. And we will see you guys soon.
Looking forward.
Awesome. Take care.